Hey everybody, welcome back to Too Many Men. My name is Alison Lucan. We're here at you with another episode. We're coming to you 2 times a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. And I am thrilled to be joined by the ever optimistic, prolific writer, and one of my favorite people to listen to and read all day, every day, Sara Sivian. Sara, how are you today?
I didn't know which way that was going to go. That's a universal one there.
Yeah.
I am great. I'm showing the people a little Halloween cheer. I don't know. Found it when I was looking for something else for my costume, which I'm not going to say what it is, but
Oh,
yeah.
a tease, if you will. All right. Well, we are not too many men if we don't have the dedicated, always willing to chip in, and probably the only other person I read every word that they write, and that is the athletic Shayna Goldman. Shayna, say hi.
Hi. Okay, wait. Actually, I think the people
Woo!
were gypped. I have a statement to make. I think the people were gypped last episode when we talked about Taylor Swift because I had nothing to bring to the table. That if we can, I would like producer Jeremy to give us a quick thought on Midnights to really round out a trio of people talking about it.
Yes, producer Jeremy, join us, please, and share with us your reviews on the Midnight's album and its joy because Shayna can't be bothered.
Wow, this is amazing. Hi, guys. I'm just unmuting and not coming on camera, so I don't want to mess up everything in terms of cutting video for all of our other wonderful producers. I enjoyed Midnights. I don't know what I expected from the album, and I
Interesting.
don't. And so in turn, I'm still sort of processing and listening through over and over to see which songs really stick out again. But I am a huge fan of Jack Antonoff. I like Bleachers. His band is my favorite band. My fiance and I have traveled to go see them. Like, we're big fans. And so in turn, I was so excited when I knew the two of them would be working together on this whole record. And I think that sometimes the two of them work perfectly together. I do think sometimes their styles of creating music almost conflict, even though they like each other so much. And so in turn, sometimes the lyrics of a couple of these songs don't necessarily match the style of production that I think maybe would be best for them. But most of these songs are really great. I love that Taylor's always willing to dive into a specific concept on an album, and that's super cool from a creative side. And like, man, there really are a bunch of bops and a bunch of hooks that are like really fun to listen to. So I really enjoyed it, as I also almost always do with Taylor Swift.
That was such a fair critique, and I think it's so great. Like, I love having conversations about music like this where it's not surface level. I feel like Antonoff and Swift sometimes are battling out for who can do, like, is the ballad going to be the lyrics part or the production part? And then, I don't know, my favorite band is Third Eye Blind, and Semi Charmed Life is a very happy song about doing crystal meth. So I kind of like that type of stuff, but I get why
Yes.
somebody wouldn't.
Yeah, and that's actually what he just did on the 1975 record. Is Jack worked with 1975 on their most recent album that came out a week
So good.
earlier, and there's a whole bunch of songs just like that, including, not to like plug another band or song while we're talking about Taylor Swift, but Looking for Somebody to Love off their new record, I Can't Stop Listening to. And it's this really, like, lyrically horribly sad song actually about school shootings, and yet it's this unbelievable pop record that, like, the dichotomy of these two songs, not, to use smart words, it really interesting to me. So yeah, I think those two things go well together. And now I'm going to mute myself again because nobody wants to hear me doing this on this podcast.
Thank you.
All I have to contribute is that the Bejeweled video was amazing, and it revealed seemingly that the first single she's going to re-record is Clean, which is my all-time favorite Taylor Swift song, so I may actually die.
Did
And
you
this
make
is
notes of okay, so now that we've talked about Taylor Swift a lot,
welcome
my
to Too
TikTok-
Many Men. We're now a Taylor Swift podcast.
and it's me doing
I
it,
know,
so
it's
nobody
me,
saw
hi.
this coming.
Or the
My-
problem, it's you.
I know. I think that's a lyric. I think
Good
that is a
job.
lyric.
Good
Oh my
job.
God.
I
Oh,
looked
she's
up. I
learning.
looked up lyrics. Remember to do
Good job.
the power rankings for Dom that time. I had to like add the Taylor Swift lyrics, and that took me.
This
lot
is a
of work.
brand new lyric, though. That's why I'm very proud of you.
Oh, then there we fucking go.
Ready for the
My
next
TikTok
one?
thinks I like Taylor Swift now because we were texting so much about it, and your phone listens in on everything, and I'm getting like all these TikToks about the new album, but like people were like taking notes during that video for
Oh,
like,
yeah.
were you doing that? Because it's a very you thing to do.
I didn't take notes. I read other people. I could not be bothered to do the work. I appreciated other people's work on it, on the Easter eggs. So yes.
Okay, fair.
Okay. Taylor Swift, come on, Too Many Men. I feel like it's your vibe.
We're friends.
Are we? Because I need to be. I'm just
I
saying.
met her.
Well, this is true. That's right. You did. You're the only one of us, and I cry. All right. Thank you, Shayna, for our Taylor Swift. We might need a new segment, Taylor Swift updates.
Oh, God.
Perfect. The people will love it. The people are dying for this content.
Every 6 months, we could do a Taylor Swift update.
That's way too
I'll
far
allow that.
apart. Way too far apart. Okay. All right. So anyway, what segments that we do regularly keep is we always start with Sarah's favorite segment, which is...
Bit of news.
Ooh, we got the full word today. I love it.
Feeling less Irish today.
We start with some news that broke on Wednesday, just as we started to record. And this is some disappointing news for a team that I know all of us have been excited to see what happens. And they've had a really dynamic start to their season. And this is being reported by Kyle Bukauskas. Tough news on Josh Norris. DJ Smith is not confident he will play again this season. Still waiting to see if surgery is needed on his shoulder. And obviously this news is coming out of Ottawa and the Ottawa Senators. Shayna, before we started recording, your primary concern here was your fantasy team. But tell us what this means for the actual team that Josh Norris plays on.
The actual team, not my team. Okay,
Correct.
That's fine. No, this is a big loss for Ottawa. And, we looked at this summer, their additions, Claude Giroux and Alex DeBrincat, and we were talking so much about, how that top six is going to look. And, you have Stützle, who's been playing primarily with Brady Tkachuk, and Norris was playing with DeBrincat. But what works for them is that they brought back Derek Brassard, who is not near the caliber player he was the last time he was in Ottawa, but he's gotten off to a pretty good start there to keep, the line balance in that top six, and more importantly, to keep Shane Pinto on the third line, where he's absolutely thriving with Tyler Mott. So it works for them that they prepared and had that extra center, and if they do need, they have someone like Claude Giroux who can easily slot to the middle. But it seems like they have a short-term solution, but obviously considering how Brassard's career is gone, I'm not sure how perfect a solution that's going to be the whole year for a team that wants to compete and has that uphill battle in the Atlantic. But that it's a really big loss for a player who just got signed to a massive contract that, maybe some would say was a little bit early, but you would think would be paying for the future, the current and future performance, and now you're losing a year of that off the bat.
I'm mainly sad because Josh Norris is part of my proudest television moment when I was filling in for JT Brown last year, and Josh Norris assisted on a Brady Tkachuk goal, and I got to say it was a Chuck Norris goal, and it was Chuck Norris's birthday.
Oh my God!
And I told a Chuck Norris joke to John Forslund on the air. Yes, people, this is what happened.
And you thought of it on the fly?
People, I have Chuck Norris jokes for days. I live this life.
You need a lifetime contract. That was sharp.
Sarah, do you have thoughts on the loss of Josh Norris for the Senators?
First of all, I'm processing that Derek Brassard still exists, so give me a minute. Second of all...
We love Brass.
I know, no, we like him. Anyway, that sucks. Ottawa was my team this year. I still think... It's funny, you realize, I don't want to say Josh Norris means almost everything to this team, but I do want to say, you're surprised sometimes who steps up in the face of adversity, and sometimes the adversity ends up taking you farther than you ever thought. I'm so fucking positive today, so I feel like it's not the end for my Ottawa Senators, and they'll figure it out with Derek Brassard.
Well, we do wish Josh Norris a speedy recovery, and again, I think we all still remain high on the Senators. It's been fun to watch what they're doing. Of course, at Too Many Men, we cover all hockey. The NHL is not the only hockey in the universe, despite what some may think. And so there's hockey news coming out of the women's side of the game, something I personally am very excited about, and that is that Team USA and Team Canada are going to be playing a series of games here coming up starting soon. And on Tuesday, Team USA announced their roster. Obviously, given the timing here, we're not going to see any of the NCAA stars that we're used to seeing, but we do have a pretty stacked roster coming out of Team USA. I personally am just thankful that Jinsey Dunn is coming to see me, because one of these games is going to be in Seattle. But Shayna, you are just a legend in terms of understanding all the different parts of the women's game and all the different organizations that are playing in this space. Give us a quick rundown of who to watch for and what to be excited about with this roster.
So with no collegiate players, being able to participate, you're gonna, be without players like Grace Umwinkle, who I think is like a spark for that bottom six, because she generally hasn't jumped up to get more minutes. And Caroline Harvey was such a revelation at Worlds when she actually got ice time. It's this crazy concept. But I'm wondering if, like, without Harvey, if it's going to be like Dunn's, minute to shine, and I hope it is. And, Brianna Decker is still out. Her future in, playing isn't super clear after sustaining an injury at the Olympics. But you still have players like, the legend Hillary Knight and Kendall Coyne Schofield. Alex Carpenter is still a part of it. She's always a player to watch. She is so good in that top six. And it's going to be interesting to see who plays in net as well. Is it Maddie Rooney who's going to be taking over? Is it Nicole Hensley? Like, they have options. And Erin Frankel, I hope to see get more minutes. She didn't really get much of anything, but was part of the roster, and I think she has a ton of potential there too. So there's definitely some exciting players to watch, and there's a lot of momentum to build after Worlds, because there was such like a new look to Team USA with the new coaching staff, where the offense had a little bit more dimension to it, and players throughout the lineup actually got time to, play and thrive and earn their minutes.
Awesome. And of course, we are jacked because, again, one of the games that USA and Canada will be playing is in Seattle on November 20th. I'm so excited. I can't wait. And I encourage anyone who's able to come make it out and take it this game. Sara, what are you excited about this game or this roster? What catches your eye?
Yeah, I'm hung up on the Decker news. It stinks that her future's uncertain. I just love watching her play. I do want to see who could step up. Obviously, Hillary Knight. Excited to see her. I love that she's like, I don't know if you guys follow her on Instagram, but I've just been following her like life in the mountains and stuff. I'm just like, go off, girl. Like, build your brand and have a nice, like, I love that she's becoming not, I don't want to call her an influencer or reduce her to that, but the fact that like she markets herself so well is such an example of kind of how to make money in this league. I'm excited for watching that develop more. I like the behind the scenes stuff, and I'm excited to watch more women's hockey. I mean, it's been a busy few years for me, and now I want to make this a focus and like a goal for me this year, because it's so fun. And every time I watch women's hockey, I'm like, why haven't I done more of this? So I'm gonna go to some Pride games this year with my niece and maybe do a little reporting, see what happens.
Fuck around and find out, right?
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, again, we're so lucky to have not just Sara and her reporting that's coming, but Shayna, who pays, like I said, there's so much happening in this space. So, Shayna, keep it up. We love your analysis. Thank you.
Mike Murphy, the legends.
That's right. Ice Garden, to follow them all. But let's move on. There's more news to cover on quickly, because we still have some hockey news too. Patrick Laine, who went out of the first game of the season for the Columbus Blue Jackets with a elbow injury and was targeted to maybe not even be able to return when the Blue Jackets head to Finland here in the next week or so, did make his return on Tuesday night. Unfortunately, that was probably the only good news that came out of that game besides his outfit, because they were crushed by the Coyotes of Arizona. Not a good showing for the Columbus Blue Jackets. But Sara, first and foremost, the Style King is back. Your thoughts on Patrick Laine being back in the NHL?
I love that the Blue Jackets tweet his outfits at me, so I always know his status. I'm like, oh, he's playing today. Great. I'm glad he's back before the Finland games. I do wonder what the hell is going on in Columbus. I don't know. It's just like Gaudreau's scoring, but things just aren't clicking. I mean, I guess I had the same questions before the season, right? It's like, okay, you add that piece. Someone did respond to our podcast, which I thought about it, and they're probably right, that I'm like, why am I questioning why Gaudreau is going to Columbus when other teams rebuild and they get a star, and that's just part of the rebuild? So I guess when I see it from that way, yeah, they're working on a rebuild, I suppose. Alison, how do you see this?
I mean, I've said this, and I'm excited for Columbus. I think that they're going to be a really strong team. I just think they're still building. This is not going to be the year, and now they have some more injuries coming out. But I am a little disappointed and I was not able to watch the game. I was working last night during games, but it doesn't sound like, it's also, there's an attitude and an energy and an intention you can show in a game, and it sounds like that was missing for the Jackets against a team that, in theory, one should be a little bit more up for. I don't know, Shayna, your thoughts?
Yeah, I really only saw the first period of that game because once more we're starting and the game was kind of out of reach, I shifted away from it. But it definitely feels like the nerds talking about it here, like will over skill, but like there's something to it. Like there needs to be that energy brought, but like, it was nice to see Line A return. And he generated a number of shots, which we know he's someone who kind of like pinpoints the shot, takes a shot, and that's it. And he's not going to be like the volume shooter, but he was good in that regard, and so is Johnny Gaudreau. But I do wonder too, like if they're going to explore splitting the two of them up, if they're going to be like the primary shooters on that team. And Johnny Gaudreau is such a good player because he's a shooter and like one of the best passers in the league without question. I would say of last year, the best passer in the league in all situations. So obviously one player like that setting up Line A, but like maybe there is something to splitting them up to have that weapon, on different lines, and maybe that'll kind of keep them a little bit more engaged each shift, instead of it just being like the top line's on, we have a shot, now they're off, we don't.
I think the issue is not that. I think the issue is they don't have a center.
Oh,
like they're trying
yeah.
everyone in between. And so I don't think they should split them up, to be honest with you. I think the issue is they can't figure out who's supposed to play between them.
Do you think that Boone Jenner being there takes away a player who could bring some energy elsewhere?
Yes.
Contractually, by my relationship to my husband, I am not allowed to speak on Boone Jenner.
I'm going to say yes.
No, we love Boone Jenner, but I'm just mean like, we love him. I'm not saying anything bad about Boone Jenner. I'm just saying like,
I think
is it too top heavy if he's there when he could be an energy player on the next line?
With all due, I think that they need a different player, and it might not be someone they currently have. That's between those two players. Okay, I can't get myself in any more trouble. Let's move on.
This whole podcast is us like trying not to get into trouble, but we do it for you guys. These are our true thoughts.
All right. Other bit-o news. We got a lot of news today. Phil Kessel. Phil, the original Phil the Thrill. He skated in his 990th straight game. He is now the sole owner of the active Ironman streak for consecutive games played. Phil has taken a lot of shit. Phil has seen a lot of shit. And I personally am happy for him. I think it's great. I love that he just brings his own attitude and style. Shayna, Phil Kessel, no hot dogs allowed. Tell us your thoughts.
I think that, this is a player who has taken a lot of shit unfairly when he's a good player, and maybe he's not supposed to be the guy on the team, and that's perfectly okay. He's very good as being like one of the key contributors instead of the leading star, and that's why I think Vegas is a good landing spot for him versus a team like Arizona, and it's why he thrived in Pittsburgh. He wasn't the guy in Pittsburgh. He was a part of their third line, and he was damn good at it. So it's a player like I definitely appreciate, and I like the flair for dramatics with him scoring his 400th goal last night as well.
Phil is hilarious. I have a Phil story from when I was in Pittsburgh covering the Penguins. There was the UPMC practice facility. It's so nice, and there's like youth tournaments there all the time. And one day, like during training camp, there was this youth tournament. And Phil Kessel, I was like pretty shy at this time. It's my first NHL team that I'm covering. And I walk into the locker room, then Phil walks into the locker room, and he looks at me and he goes, "What the hell are all these kids doing here?" I'm like, I don't know, Phil. I don't know who you think I am, but I don't have the answers for you. He just said it so like how Phil Kessel would say it. I'm just like, that he is who exactly you think he is. And I just think it's hilarious that the past two Iron Men, him and Keith Yandel, like Keith Yandel would eat ice cream sandwiches before every game, and Phil Kessel, like, there was a period of time where he only drank blue Gatorade and would, like, be forced to drink water. And I'm not trying to start another rumor, but that was in a story in Sportsnet or something like that.
Water's overrated.
So, I agree. I agree. But it's so funny that, like, Nathan McKinnon and Sidney Crosby like, scream at their teammates for not having boiled chicken. And these two guys that, like, haven't missed a shift are just eating ice cream. Just love that for them.
Amazing. Yes, we add it to the fan list. We are also a pro Phil Kessel pod. We love Phil Kessel. Congrats to you. Usually at this time, we would talk about the shit list. However, it's a brand new day. Shayna and Sara both wrote shockingly positive stories. So there's no shit list for us this week. Sara, you've already acknowledged you're on this like pro-optimistic vibe. Shayna, what's bringing the vibes for you?
I mean, we could talk about Vancouver if you want to be negative. I could go all fucking day about that.
Please,
I don't know. We did negative last week. Like, I wrote about the shitty starts from teams, and now we're just looking for some positivity. I mean, at the end of the week, I'm writing something that's going to be like both ends of the spectrum. So I have to balance myself out tomorrow, apparently.
We love it. We love it. And we wanted to throw in our anti-shit list that the Kraken finally got their first home win last night. A very solid, complete 5-1 win over the red-hot Buffalo Sabres. So that was really impressive. And we wanted to give a shout-out. Shayna wanted to call attention. This is from the Twitter account at NHL to Seattle. The individual behind that is a wonderful person named John Barr. We're big fans. He is one of the big forces in terms of even bringing the NHL from a fan perspective to Seattle. So shout out to him. But he does some great work, and he pointed out that with goals from Morgan Geekie, Jamie Alexiak, and of course Daniel Sprong, who didn't know, last night, the Kraken now lead the league in terms of unique goal scorers by team with 16. The aforementioned Columbus Blue Jackets are second with 15, and then Vegas and Pittsburgh rank in with 14. But for a team that's building like the Kraken is, I think that's a nice part of their story to show that they are getting contributions up and down the lineup. Shayna, this caught your eye. What was it about this information that you were compelled by?
When we did the team previews for the Kraken, like, the question was like, do they have enough star power? And the answer is probably not yet. Maybe they will when like Matty Beniers really breaks out and Shane Wright, but like right now they don't. But that's okay because they can be a team that works by committee, and they needed goal support and they brought it in. So it's nice to see the contributions from some of the players who were on last year, like Jordan Eberle and Jared McCann, and as well as players like Burakovsky, who I think is gonna is a good fit there, and we love Oliver Bjorkstrand and stuff like that. So, and then they're still getting contributions from their defense. So if they're going to click, it's like a team effort to generate goals, which they need, and that's going to help support their goaltending, which obviously needs the help right now given Grubauer's injury.
Sara, are you a fan of teams that are getting scoring from a lot of places, or do you think that truly successful teams need like some big tentpole players who drive most of the play?
Yeah, I think that was a really solid interpretation of that stat, because it's so true that like younger teams and teams that are building something towards the future, like I think having a lot of scoring from different places there is helpful. Then you look at Carolina at the bottom because 7 goals have come from Andrei Svechnikov and you want him to score, right? It's like because they aren't going to fizzle out. So I think it's very dependent on team to team where you're at. If you're going to make the Stanley Cup, the Hurricanes' issue was that they needed more oomph per 60. And we've talked about that last year, the past few years. And it's like because they have all these really good players, but they need that one guy that's going to score a ton. Like you just need that guy when you're winning the Cup. So I feel like when you're in the top 5-ish, you're going to need more not spread out scoring, but like more of that like weapon. But if you're kind of in the middle of the pack, it's a really good place to be where you have production coming from everywhere.
Outstanding stuff. Well, and again, shout out to John Barr who brought that stat to us. We love it. We have just some quick run around the league news, some teams that are catching our eye that we wanted to break down a little bit more. We already talked about Phil Kessel and his achievements. He is obviously with the Vegas Golden Knights. That is his latest team in his tour through the NHL. And again, a very illustrious and long career. They're off to a strong start. Jack Eichel is playing well. We talked about Phil Kessel. They have a new head coach, Bruce Cassidy, who's bringing in some new systems. And then for me, the biggest question mark for this team was their goaltending, because obviously Robin Lehner is out for the season, and in come Logan Thompson and Aiden Hill, and they're playing well. I kind of cracked up. I did not see this actual quote, but someone brought it. I believe this to be true, that I guess Mark Stone was grousing like, everyone's underestimating us. Everyone's counting us out. We have something to prove. I'm like, no one is counting you out. No one thinks you suck. You were all just broken last year. We all expected you to be good again this year because everyone's healthy except your goaltender. So I'm not here for the faux chip on your shoulder, Mark Stone, even though I love your game. But Shayna, Vegas, thoughts?
Yeah, I think if anything, everyone counted out the goaltending and they counted out Mark Stone because no one knew, like, could his career continue. I'm here for a healthy Mark Stone being back in the fold. He's one of the best players in the league to watch, in my opinion. Like, when he's healthy, when he's clicking, and like just to watch him strip the puck away from opponents. I could watch that literally all day, and I love him with Chandler Stevenson, who that is a player that did not get that time and space in Washington and is just like in the perfect position in Vegas. It's like everything clicks with him. Um, I like too that they were going with like a different lineup strategy, which was more about like balance, and I felt like they had like pairs of players together. Like it was Kessel, Eichel, Stevenson, Stone, and then William Karlsson with Marchessault. And now they're changing it up with that stacked top line that they put together 2 games ago with Eichel, Stevenson, and Stone. And it's like you have 3 of the best players in transition on one line. But I'm interested to see how it goes because I think Eichel's playing well, and I think everyone wants to see that next level from him. And I think this is the combination he's gonna get there with, and then they can like figure it out. But the player to shout out that I don't think is getting the appreciation is Riley Smith, who has just like quietly been effective in Vegas this whole time. He doesn't get the credit of everyone else, and I know there were a lot of rumors about him being traded last year, and then because he was hurt they freed up cap space so they didn't need to move him, or would they extend him, and they chose to. Like, he's just a very good contributor, and I think would be good in anyone's top 9. So it's nice to see he's still like going and, quietly effective there while a lot of the attention's on the big guys.
69th pick overall, Riley Smith. Of course I remember that.
Sara, are you impressed that the goaltending is standing up in the face of maybe low expectations, or did we underestimate what Vegas always manages to do, which is find a way through?
Well, I'll get to your chip on the shoulder comments, but Jesse Granger wrote a really good story about Logan Thompson. I mean, he came from the coast and he's been having a great time. I mean, I wonder how much that's going to last. I hope it lasts for a while. That's a great story.
My fantasy team also hopes it lasts. Since we're talking about that today, we very much care about it lasting.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I am surprised, and I have to say maybe Mark Stone was reading BleacherReport.com because I was naysaying them. I used one word to describe every team headed into the season. Before Taylor announced her album, I said karma. And then in my article today, I was like, they were using the Taylor Swift version of karma, that they're fine and it's not, karma's a relaxing thought to them. So I think, as I was writing the story though, I just kept being like, oh, they have Jack Eichel, Bruce Cassidy, they're healthy again, the goaltending's good. Why was I ever counting them out? I think I just like maybe wanted karma to catch up to them after kind of their revolving door of people. But good for them.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they deserve a little pushback for some shenanigans, but you can't deny what they're going to be, in my opinion, at least.
And Jack Eichel deserves to go off. And his Sabres are going off too, so everybody wins.
Unless they're in Seattle. So, hey. Sorry, let me have my fun.
You're right.
Another team that we underestimated probably was the Boston Bruins. This was a team where the narrative coming into the season was, can they just make it through until a lot of their key players come back from surgery and from injury? Obviously, Pasternak is pasta. He's scoring. Nick Foligno has already scored more than he did the entire season last year. Linus Ullmark has been solid. They're off to their best start since 1969-70 with a record of 6-1-0. Sara, you've been able to see this team in person a little bit already. Are the Bruins for real?
Yeah, everywhere I go. Yeah, the Bruins are for real because, like we are talking about, Marchand and McAvoy aren't back yet. Ullmark and Swayman are 2 good options, I think, and Ullmark is doing exactly what he has to do. The vibes are definitely there. If that, when you can walk into a locker room and you can kind of just tell they like being there. They have I think David Krejci coming back was more of a boost than anybody gave him credit for. And when he was talking to us last week, he was just saying, I went to check not because my career was over. I was taking care of some family stuff. We have to remember sometimes these guys are human and we are living through a pandemic and shit has been happening. So he's come back and he's been awesome with Pasternak. That's just Pavel Zacha, pretty good chipping in. It's just everybody's doing their job.
Shayna, what impresses you about Boston right now?
Yeah, like we talked just a minute ago about Stevenson, how he just clicks in Vegas better, and it seems like Zaka already is like clicking way better in Boston than he ever did in New Jersey, which good for him. You know, there's a ton of pressure on him as like a high draft pick and things like that. And I think New Jersey needed him to be a player that just it wasn't happening. The return of David Krejci is great. Pasternak is going off. I think Taylor Hall on that line, it's so good. And I don't know, do we forget that like Taylor Hall was literally a Hart caliber player a couple years ago? Like
We do.
you know, yeah, like his stock has totally fallen, sure, but he's been so good in Boston, and now he's on this line that's somehow their second line. And you know, I was looking at Sean Ferris has done some tracking, and you could see a player like Charlie Coyle really going off as their third line center, and I think it's just such an upgrade to have Krejci there instead of Eric Haula as the second line center, and the fact that the third line is going because Coyle is so good at bringing the puck into the zone with control. Like there's a lot working for Boston that last year it was kind of there, almost there, not great enough to be the contender that, you know, they want to be in the East, which is they're in a tough division and they're just like playing really well. And Hampus Lindholm too, I think a lot of us kind of wrote him off in Anaheim because he was asked to do a lot on a team that was like very bad. And, you know, he's good defensively, sure, but now he's had to step up into more of an all situation role, and he's been really good with Boston. So, credit to the players and credit to the coach, Jim Montgomery. It seems like when he started in Dallas, there were a lot of positive takeaways, and it seems like there's a lot of positive takeaways for him in Boston, and there were in St. Louis as him as an assistant coach. So it's nice to see, you know, we can see like Bruce Cassidy, a lot of people could see was a good coach, but maybe they brought someone in who's better for this team right now.
Well, some other teams that we wanted to talk about too, in what I understand was the Georgiev revenge game, potentially, last night, who's to say. But the Rangers and the Avs played last night. Again, I was working, so I didn't get to see much of this. But the Rangers have been a little bit of a mixed bag. This is a team that we were all three high on, particularly after how they finished out the year. And again, with their exceptional goaltending that they've been getting. Shayna, take us through where we think the Rangers are at right now.
Yeah, that was definitely a revenge game for Georgiev, and good for him because he obviously left New York wanting more of a role that he was never going to have here. And, you know, he doesn't have to be otherworldly in Colorado. They don't need him to be that, but he was really good last night. But the Rangers are interesting because it feels like they're losing to teams that they should be able to beat, like the Sharks, the Blue Jackets, and they're playing poorly in those games. And then when it's someone like Minnesota and Tampa Bay and Colorado, they're really coming to play. The standout for me last night was Adam Fox. As much as we hear about narratives on national broadcasts, I didn't hear enough about Makar versus Fox that I felt like could have been talked about, but he came to play, and there's, the goal was this incredible play where he turned defense into offense against Nathan McKinnon of all players when Fox isn't that big of a player. He's not that physical, and he crushed it there, but it was like the little things, his keep-ins, and he was breaking up plays with the stick and like all the quintessential things that make him a good player. But for the Rangers, we have to talk about Artemi Panarin and his start. After last year, he was not good at 5-on-5. He was great on the power play. He had moments of brilliance at 5-on-5, and he picked it up when they brought in Andrew Kopp, but it was not his best year, and now you can see he's shooting the puck more. He's making these amazing passes, and it's the creativity that makes him such a good player and how he protects the puck, and it's everything like that. I think when you're watching by 5-on-5 now, you're just like, yes, that's the elite player we know, and it kind of stops everyone from wondering if aging was catching up or if he didn't click in New York with the new systems under Gallant. So what are your thoughts on him, Alison, and what makes him such a special player? Like, what do we need from Panarin to be able to look at him and go, there's the game breaker we all expect him to be?
I mean, honestly, I'm going to pass because I haven't been able to watch him play this season. It's just not fair. Because I know,
in general, because like he was the difference maker in Columbus. Like,
no, but I know, Panarin, but like, because of how he was playing last year, I want to see him play a whole game first. I can't say what he needs to do or isn't doing, right? I need to see what he's doing and maybe isn't getting support on. You got to watch the game, nerd. You got to watch. I was
going to say, you're telling me you nerd are going to watch the game?
I got to watch the game. Narratives alone and just going to see one shift and write an 800-word story about Panarin being the best player in the league.
Well, speaking of Sarah, before we go about narratives, do you have any thoughts on the Rangers? The Metro's pretty clogged right now. So even with their record of 3-2-2 with 8 points, they're technically in 6th place in the Metro, but they are one of 4 teams with 8 points. So this is going to shake out as the season gets longer. But any thoughts on the Rangers in general?
Yeah, well, what Shayna said with like they play up to good teams, they play down to bad teams, that is such an indication of a really good young team that's kind of like going to be good for a while, but still has a few things to maybe work out. And it's like fans have to remember that this is the beginning of the regular season and that it's going to be okay. I think just watching the Rangers is so funny because it's like Johnny Laz always has his clips of good plays and it's like everybody's talking about the lineup. Like I know the lineup better than I know my own lineup. I don't know. It's just the Rangers faithful. I love when the Rangers are good because they come out of the woodwork and it's like, okay, we're going to clog Twitter in a good way. They're passionate folk. That's all I'll say.
Well, we were talking about narratives. And so folks, we're going to take you inside the Too Many Men text chat for a little bit here. We were kind of roasting some of the tired narratives that writers will tend to go to, or it's all about the fit, right? You have to have the writer who is either in a space where they have a clever angle or they need to have some fun given the beat they're on or the kind of work that they do. And it has to just really be a truly creative idea versus, like which team's color is red today and which team would be the best blue. Like it has to be fun. So we, in our completely innovative and 100% accurate narrative way, decided that we'd play a little game. I'm interested to see how Sara joins in because she was not having it while Shayna and I were having some fun with this. My friends, some very important news, some very important analysis. Your favorite NHL players as cheese. Shayna, you can start.
Okay. Sidney Crosby is mozzarella cheese. It's an elite cheese.
What'd you say? Mozzarella.
I say mozzarella and then like Rich, I swear, puts on this like Italian accent because he is Italian. When he talks about certain cheeses, like I say ricotta cheese and he gets really mad at me.
You say what?
Ricotta cheese?
Ricotta.
It's ricotta. It's fine.
Oh. Anyway, go ahead.
Anyway.
This is we can't even play this game. You can't pronounce the cheeses.
It's fine. I don't have an ounce of Italian in me and I'm okay with that. But yeah, Sidney Crosby's good in all situations on everything. Like you could mix mozzarella cheese on everything and it's good, and you forget about how good it is because it's like a quintessential cheese. It's one that like you use it all the time, you forget how good it is, yet it's perfect and elite. So that's Sidney Crosby.
Sara, do you have a player as cheese?
Yeah, you guys, I was definitely sitting this one out. My lactose intolerance was flaring up. No, I don't even know. I was doing something. Cody Eakin is cheddar cheese. He's got the orange mullet, so
inspired choice. Well, my favorite one that I came up with that was already shared on the Twitter, which if you aren't already, follow us at 2_much_man. Cale Makar fondue because he's totally changing what cheese is all about, and he is our elite little. Come on, that's good. That's funny.
No, I like that. That I love that one, and the other one you suggested, JT Miller as blue cheese. Because he's blue and moldy, because like everything going on in Vancouver is so terrible.
Smelly.
Smelly. Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Blue.
He's blue. He's sad. What's going on in Vancouver is sad, and like everything stinks, and he's so salty about it. He's so salty about everything, every quote. I'm like, and I get it. Like if someone asked me like, do you care jerseys are being thrown on the ice? Like, what do you want to say? Like, I give a shit that fans are wasting their money. Like, I didn't care what he said about that. It's everything else. So I personally love that one.
Sara, do you have any more hot cheese takes?
I don't. I was enjoying this from a distance.
Well, there you go. Well, Shayna, were there any other good ones we had in the chat that we need to bring back?
Was Nichushkin Gouda cheese?
Yeah, that was mine, I think, right? Because I said he's Gouda.
Yeah.
Hey!
Hey!
Who is brie cheese?
Check out our 5,000 word analysis later.
Exactly. I did say someone was brie. Who did I say was brie?
And I mean, Swiss cheese for goaltending is the easiest one
obviously.
to do. You could say like literally Mackenzie Blackwood is Swiss cheese, and it's like if he doesn't touch. If the puck doesn't go near him, it's not going through the holes that already exist. Like, the Devils have to literally make sure he doesn't face any, like, good shots against or it's going past him.
Here's who I said was brie. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Hey.
I'll take that. That's my boy.
Okay. All right.
This
Any
is the
other
thing piece
last
I'm gonna do once a
big
month.
piece? That's right. Cheese players cheese. Read all about it. Insights you need.
We're
Subscribe
gonna
today.
randomly
Yeah,
think of these
subscribe
throughout
to
the
our
year.
Patreon.
I hope
Subscribe to
everyone
our
comes up with
Substack.
them. I just want to see people randomly tweeting us being like, this player is Pepperjack. And we're
We
like,
want your cheesesteaks, people. We're really dead serious. Please share them with us, and we will share them on the show. We're here for it.
Yep.
All right, we end every episode with our very favorite game. We also have merch for our very favorite game, so if you haven't ordered that, I ordered mine the other day. I cannot wait. But it is time for Fuck, Marry, Kill. And in honor of our Sara Sivian and her tremendous work leading the way with NHL and hockey style rankings. And by the time this episode comes out, we may have even more fun excitement around the style rankings, but we'll keep that quiet for now. We'll share it with you later on the Twitters. But we thought for Fuck, Marry, Kill, we'd go with the 3 style choices of, and Sara, you're going to be up first, so get ready. David Pastrnak, Patrick Laine, K'Andre Miller. Sara, you are up.
Like, why would you do this to me? This is the hardest thing in the world, truly. These are all style icons in their own right. God. I'm going to go out of left field here and marry K'Andre because he is very consistent with the looks. And even if it's not something crazy, I know it's still going to be like well put together, nicely accessorized. I expect a lot out of him, and he rarely disappoints, and I ask a lot out of him, and he is up to the challenge. So we stan. I am going to... Oh, God. This is so hard. They're kind of like one and the same for me. Oof. Okay. I am going to fuck Laine because he's always ready doing something crazy. So it's like if I need an affair, like that's going to be a fun one to have, right? Like the holographic, take a ride on my holographic backpack. Like I like that. I like the you never know what you're going to get. Oh God, I have to kill Pasta. I'm so sorry. I have to do more research onto what he's wearing every day this season, but he hasn't been really, I think he's been too busy scoring goals. So you know what? Like, I'm not going to hate on him too much, but I'm expecting a little more out of the outfits this season. And I have to repeat again that this is the hardest fuck, marry, kill of all time because these are the top 3 style icons in the league in my eyes right now.
Shayna?
Yeah, I have to agree. These are the top 3 style icons. I also am going to kill Pastrnak. I do think that he could bring more to it this year. And I think even with some of the looks last year, like I love the risks he was taking and I commend him for that. But like the outfits didn't always vibe with me, but like I respect his style. So I will kill him for that. I will fuck K'Andre Miller's style. I think that he's bringing a lot to the table. I love the, accessorizing. I like the risks he's taking too. Like, even as a rookie on an original 6 team, like you didn't really know if you were going to see that kind of style and that kind of personality, and he brought it. So just more of it is what I want to see. And I will marry Laine's style because he goes for it. Like he takes big swings. He's very confident in them. I like the risk taking, and I also like the sustainability of it. Like even if an outfit's memorable, you don't always expect someone to rewear it, and he does, and I do respect that. So I think he would keep things, fun and interesting, but still have like a consistency to him. So I'm gonna marry that style.
Interesting. That's an interesting point I had not contemplated because I will say as much as I respect Patrick Laine and his adventurous nature, like it's sometimes too much for me. Sometimes too much for me.
That's fair.
But now I'm a little more compelled because he does rewear things. Gosh, you guys, I don't know.
Pasta is too.
Yeah, and you know what? I kind of, now granted I have not been up on his style of late as much as Sara has, but I kind of like Pasta is just this consistent, like it's not elite top of style, but because it's consistent at a more moderate level, I almost have like more respect for the game. Mm-hmm. So my original rankings, although I kind of don't agree with them anymore, was that I was going to kill Patrick Laine's style, which was really just process of elimination, and also I think I'd have a headache. I was going to marry K'Andre and fuck Pasta. For all the reasons I said, I did it in reverse, but there you go. Those are my...
I still like it. They're all good
Excellent.
choices.
Yeah, that's
All
the
so
thing.
Oh, that's the
This is
thing,
like
yeah.
the hardest thing to decide, so...
I just was trying to think of style icons, and that's where my brain went to the three of them, and I'm like, this is gonna be very difficult, but I guess that's what makes it fun. And we can definitely during the season think of more like when we start seeing the front runners, like guys like Yanni Gord are coming out with like great suits every week.
100%. 100%. All right, my friends. And for the record, for anyone who thinks that that was too hard, everyone on this pod approved that in the group chat as our fuck, marry, kill before we started.
We're just providing you with all the hard-hitting content. So
the analysis you
we're
need.
not pulling any
The
punches.
cheeses, the fashions. This is what
The Taylor. The Taylor.
The Taylor. Yesterday, the Athletic like tweeted out a note from my story with like the image, and it was like, "Babe, wake up! The Bruins aren't dead yet." And I'm like, "This is it. This is the hard hitting analysis everyone wants to see." And I love that because like we're allowed to have fun, especially because like, I mean, we're not always having fun. Sara had to talk about Hockey Canada last week, and Alison has had to introduce hockey to a new set of fans, which has its challenges. And
that's fun though.
It is fun, but like it's tough, especially when the team doesn't play well too. It's tough to keep coming up with creative angles without, saying the same things, and you always have something, so you're allowed to have fun. And like, I had to watch a Year of the Devil's goaltending. Like, I deserve fun once in a while too.
Yeah, I hear you. Babe, wake up. We're having fun.
Well, friends, we hope that this podcast has brought some fun into your day. As we already mentioned, if you aren't already, please follow us on Twitter at @2_much_man. If you want to rock out your support of Too Many Men, be like Root Sports' Piper Shaw and buy your Too Many Men merch. We also have Fuck, Marry, Kill, Too Many Men merch, and Pro Torts merch. You can check it all out on our website. The link is also in our Twitter bio. We are coming at you every week with episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, thanks to the tremendous work of our producer, Jeremy Taché, who also is elite in his appreciation of Taylor Swift. We thank him for that. Until we talk next time, make space for others to enjoy this great game of hockey wherever they want to and however they want to, and be good to